Bonsoir, citizens of the world, Celtics Nation. It's time for another CB on the Seas. Sorry about the delay. This is on the Celtics 93-90 loss to the Magic from last night. There's technical glitches for the video last night. I promise it won't happen again. So the pull-up three, my first point. When do we start worrying about Kyrie's three-point shooting percentage? This is a guy who's a career 38% three-point shooter, and the last 2 years he's been over 40%. And so far this season, through 4 games, he's 4 for 22, which comes out to a pretty stout 18%. And of course, he missed the game-tying three last night at the end of the game. So when do we start worrying about it? When we start talking about his three-point shooting? It's something we really count on and lean on, and it's not happening. So, something I've been thinking about. We'll see what happens on Thursday against the Thunder. Second point in the pull-up three is a coaching move. It was interesting when the Magic got out to a 12-point lead. Stevens yanked Kyrie, Brown, and Tatum and Al all at the same time and put in Tice, Yabusele, Smart, and Morris, which was an interesting group. And they sort of chipped away at the lead. This was sort of with 3 minutes to go in the first and into sort of the middle of the second, and he sort of feathered in the starters one by one. And, they never got the lead, that's for sure. Magic led wire to wire, I believe. But that was interesting. That was a pretty drastic move. I think he's pretty fed up with the listlessness and the uneven performance of the squad over the first 4 games. Third point in the pull-up three is an interesting stat, and I was going to go with the combined three-point percentage of Kyrie, Tatum, and Al last night, which was 3 for 20, 15%. But that was depressing, so I went with a funnier stat, which was Robert Williams' line. He had his first minutes of his career last night. He played 4 minutes. And if you look at his stats, if you look at his line, they're pretty funny. Played 4 minutes, and it's zeros across the board for his line. I don't even think he had a touch. Maybe he touched the ball on a partial rebound, knocked it around, but he didn't get credit for the rebound. So, yeah, 4 minutes, 0 field goal attempts, 0 field goals made, 0 3-pointers attempted, 0 made, 0 free throws, no rebounds, no offensive rebounds, and it goes on down the line. 0 plus minus. He played an even game for 4 minutes. Anyway, I thought that was funny. At least, a mild distraction from the three-point shooting disaster that was last night. So the 3 stars in descending order. Tice, he had his first sort of serious run last night, and he was pretty active. He was +6, played 15 minutes, had 7 points, had 6 boards. That's pretty good in 15 minutes. Of course, he was sloppy, had 2 turnovers. He's pretty, he's doesn't have the best hands that I've seen. But he was the 3rd best player. I think he was the best Celtics player. He was the one who stood out the most last night. Second star was Vucevic. He was lights out. He had a big night. He didn't miss. He was 11 for 18, plus 10. He had 24 points, 12 boards. He was pretty good. There were a lot of good players from Magic last night. If they got a serious point guard, I think they might not be terrible. We'll see. Isaac was the number 1 star. He really was a revelation. Apparently, this is his best game as a pro. He didn't play that much last year, but his shooting was very cultured, and his general approach to the game was very cultured for a guy who I think is like 20. Anyway, very impressive. Wish he was on the Celtics, along with Aaron Gordon. Anyway, the 3 stains. Number 3 stain was Brown. He was pretty anonymous for the whole game. he has a hard time figuring out where he fits in sometimes when he's on the floor, and it's pretty aggravating to watch. Everybody loves him. I love him too, but I get aggravated sometimes. Second stain on the game was Al, and this was his first real bad game. Al's been sort of steady, actually, really the only steady Celtic for the first 3 games of the season. He was pretty bad last night. He 1 for 3 from the arc. Yeah, he had a rough night. 32 minutes. Yeah. You know, he still had 6 boards, 4 assists, but he missed a lot of shots. Offense ground to a halt many times last night, and Al was the reason why frequently. And the first stain, Kyrie, he's still battling. He's still got his great handle. He's starting to score a little bit more now too. But man, his 3-point shooting, which we count on so much, to just sort of save us from a bad offensive set. Sort of stanch a run by the other team, tie up the game at the last second, like last night, which he didn't do. Those are all things we sort of count on him for, and he's not doing it. And like I said in my pull-up, 3-pointer, it's going to be interesting to see what happens when do we start hitting the alarm bells. So my closeout is a food recommendation. As many of you know, I used to live in Los Angeles for a while. Moved out from Boston, born and bred in Boston, moved to Los Angeles for several years. It's a taco stand called Tacos Chapelita in Lincoln Heights, which is in northeast LA. It used to be right by where I lived. I used to stop there and get the grilled shrimp tacos, 4 grilled shrimp tacos for $5 and a soda. And it was pretty good. It's on Broadway in between Griffin and Johnston. I think it's like it's on just across the street from Johnston from the post office. Anyway, easy parking, nice guys, cheap, awesome tacos. So Tacos Chapelitas, Northeast LA, Broadway in between Griffin and Johnston. So next game will be Thursday night at the Thunder. Game 5, and that's going to be a big one. It's going to be 8 o'clock. It's going to be on TNT. I don't know if it's going to be on the local cable station in town with Mike and Scal, but I hope it is. I like those guys a lot more than Kevin Harlan and Reggie Miller, those 2 dingbats. Anyway, hope this video works this time, and I'll see you guys after the game on Thursday night. Later.